for all. Marvel, DC, Trek, and more.
Fire.
Pop culture battles, settle the score. Nerdfights, let's get loud. Nerdfights, yeah, for the geeky crowd. Nerdfights, hey, it's time to throw down. Bring your fandom, it's the hottest showdown. Who's got the takes? Who's got the heat? Mr. Know-It-All and Salty can't be beat. Introducing Gonzo, a nerdy delight. Comics knowledge, a geeky sage. Judging the battles, turning the page. That means only one thing. It's time to fight.
Beat drops out with a final shot.
Nerdfights. Let's fight!
Nerdfights is a competitive debate game show where self-proclaimed nerds face off for 3 rounds in head-to-head battles over geeky topics, judged by a single judge who decides the winner based on argument strength, wit, and strategy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nerdfights. I am, of course, your host, Mr. Know-It-All. Joining me is the captain of this starship, Salty Trucker. Sir, how are you?
Strangely live.
Nice, I know. Well, no, it's just between this and that, it was either do it live or miss the show this week, and I didn't want to miss the show this week. And of course, our judge, as always, Gonzo. What's up, homie?
What up? How's it going?
Nice. It's good. We're doing good. Okay. So yeah, man, this is a thing. This is a thing we do. We're basically Nerdfights is where we get together, we do this thing, and actually, why don't I just go ahead and play the rules? It'll be fast, simple, and that'll kind of tell everybody what it is that this game is.
Real quick, before you play the rules,
Yes.
I think we need to do an addendum to last week's Nerd Fight.
Okay. Yes, you're correct. You are right. So I had an opportunity to watch the Minecraft movie. That movie was amazing. That movie was damn amazing, and dare I say it, it could be argued that you were correct in all of your assertions about what that movie is. There were a couple minor things that people want to nitpick about, but overall, like it was good. It was real good.
So I still obviously lost the match, but at least you now know that I was correct.
That's hilarious.
More
Oh my God, it's so funny.
I guess.
Stan is asking if we had a mistrial. And no, Stan, we do not have a mistrial. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate you asking. Anyway, but no. Okay, so what are your thoughts on it?
On Minecraft?
Yeah.
I think that pretty much my previewed review was correct. That the story was completely irrelevant. It was just about experiencing the Minecraft video game in real life. And
I can see that. I can totally see that.
It was silly. The story made very little sense, but that didn't matter.
No, of course. And of course, as Robert, your good buddy, there's pointing out, apparently Critical Drinker didn't like it whatsoever. And I'm like,
Well, a lot of critics, the problem is that if you're trying to critique this movie as a traditional film, it's going to fail because as a high fantasy adventure story, it seems kind of generic.
It literally feels like discount dollar store Jumanji.
Right.
And that was only the setup to get you into the world.
But as a video game adaptation, I would dare say it's the best ever made. Because it really is just Minecraft on the big screen.
I mean, they didn't even. It was crazy. But
okay,
all right.
As far as movies go,
for real. I just had a lot of fun with it. I know that. I know that the kids, Baby Know-It-All and Boyfriend Know-It-All, did a review, which will be hopefully up this evening, and they're just talking about it, and they're actually the audience. So the big thing I think people forget is that the critics are looking at it cinematically, and what's funny is these wonderfully clever kids, they actually gave a critical, like, if you're basing our score on critical stuff, and it was like, it's like this and that, and very low. Right. But if you're basing it on, it was a fun, good Minecraft movie, and then it's like, it's this. And I was like, oh, you guys did so good. Again, very proud. Seeing them try to at least think that way, because that's smart, But if you see the videos, though, I know that's viral in terms of like people were doing things sometimes just to get that viral like attention. But that's the culture that is playing Minecraft. So it's very much about it's them. It's about them. And I was like, okay, well, I get it.
And and there are some things in there that like only a true hardcore Minecraft fan would even know about, like the pig.
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally. No, for real.
And so if you don't know the story of Technoblade, when the fact that Jack Black says that pig is legend, and our whole audience just went nuts at that line.
Yeah, same. And I literally my kid had to lean over and explain it to me, and I was like, "Oh, got it, thank you." So right on. Okay, so with all that out of the way, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm as ready as I'm gonna.
General rules. Nerd fighters are given a debate topic. Fighters pick a number to determine who argues first. The judge is the sole arbiter. All decisions are final unless genuinely persuaded otherwise. Arguing with the judge in bad faith, all kidding aside, results in immediate forfeiture.
And welcome to the stage. This is our official one for today. As you can see,
that says all decisions are final unless persuaded otherwise. So it's all decisions are final unless they're not.
And unless he has a good way of talking, then we can,
We got to be like politicians.
Oh my god, I love it. Wow, the chat's going crazy.
Speaking of politicians, we're talking about politicians tonight.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And the reason is because Amazon Prime's got that G20 movie with Viola Davis, who's playing a what do you call a badass movie president.
Yeah, and Mr. Know-It-All's gone on record saying that this is probably going to be the best political thriller of all time.
Wow. Okay.
This movie looks like straight trash, but it made me think, what would be a good who is one of the best movie badass presidents that we ever had, and so we got into the discussion.
Yes.
But
so the actual topic is the most badass president.
Yeah, a movie president.
Yes. Well, obviously, we're not going to sit there.
It's more of a discussion than anything, but
well, it's a debate because I have my thoughts, he has his, but mainly. But the other thing is, there were a lot of great choices in TV. And I was like, man, it sucks. We didn't think to expand this a little more. So, but it's all good. It's all good. Because I would have picked easily David Palmer from the first season of 24. I love that. That guy's like, oh my God, I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. That guy was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Any Black Jesus, the one that.
Totally. Dennis Haysbert.
Black Jesus, because what was it, Allstate?
Yeah,
commercial where he just walks through the car crash like ain't nothing.
Wait. Do bad things happen, though?
What do you mean?
Well, I've never seen the first season of 24, so do bad things happen under as well? Because generally speaking, have you ever noticed that every time there's a black president in the United States, everything falls apart completely?
No, we haven't. We've never noticed that before.
Mean, I've seen one in real life.
Well, this is not supposed to be an actual political commentary.
Hold on. Are you stuttering? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So, okay. So we got to. You had another thought, sir. Did you want to tell us about how we're going to do this?
Oh yeah. So a slight new rule to it, which is, of course, we do not know what the other person has picked, and so. New rule is that we have to have an alternate, because if one person picks what the other person had, too bad, that one's gone. And same thing like if we do a future like Star Trek, Star Wars matchup or whatever, if the person who rolls first, they pick and the other person has to take the other side, too bad.
Right. Yeah. And you got to be ready. So next one we did, we both prepared like two arguments ready to go back up and from a primary. So we'll see what happens. So how are we go ahead. How are we going to do the number? We're going to do the number again?
We're going to do the number. We're going to pick a number between 10 and 20. 10 to 20.
10 and 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you want to pick first?
Oh, geez. Isn't this what we're supposed to be doing? All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Catch
lucky
tiger by the
13.
toe.
13.
What did you say?
Lucky number
13?
Yes,
13. All right.
Well, and I got to go 14.
Okay. So it looks like Salty got it because, the number was 16.
Yeah. Right. All right, so you get to reveal.
You know, if it's a pick a number, always just pick halfway.
I hear you.
Maybe I could have easily just hit 10. You know.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about if you're the first person to have to pick. Like if you had said me first,
the numbers in between.
yeah, and you said between 10 and 20, I would have said 15.
True.
Because that gives me a 50-50 shot. But, All
right. So now I'm trying to remember this. We're not going to do the 5 minutes yet because we need to figure out. No, because we need to figure out what president you're going to pick.
No. That's part of it. He'll hear it because
that's part of the fight. Ooh, that's even juicier. Okay, now I understand.
That's why he doesn't get any prep time on it.
Oh no.
I am Batman. There's always prep time. You just don't know.
I am Batman. I was born in the darkness. All right, Salty, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Here's your 5 minutes. Here we go.
All right. The official title of this particular politician is 5-time Ultimate SmackDown Champion, porn superstar, Dwayne Elzondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, President of America, brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Oh, even I love that choice, bro, and I never thought of that. That's awesome.
Keep in mind, was he a great political leader? No, but that's not what this is about. This is about the most badass president. Now, let me say this. First of all, he was absolutely a literal badass because President Camacho got on TV and did a live colonoscopy, and just because of that, colonoscopies went up by 23%. Not only that, he does actually recognize his weaknesses. When he realized he was not the best man for the job, he got the world's smartest man to step up and fill his rather impressive shoes. Also, he did in fact make a mistake, as all people are apt to do from time to time. And when he did, and he realized his mistake, he issued a full presidential pardon. But in the spirit of badassness, this pardon wasn't just a proclamation. No, it wasn't signing a note. No, this was tackling the guy with the flamethrower that was about to execute the prisoner and taking him down. I'm sorry. There is, in fact, no way to argue that anybody could stand up to the ultimate badassery of President Camacho.
President Camacho, and for the people out there, just in case I don't want to insult their intelligence, for what movie was this in?
The movie was Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. All right.
I never thought to, bro. I never thought.
You got a few minutes there, and are you all set?
I'm good. I mean, just his title says half the things that you could. How are you going to take that down?
My goodness.
Unreal. That was, dude, I don't even know.
Oh my God.
I did not in any way, shape, or form see that coming. I did not.
So
and
that's,
I've had a lot of.
That's 300 points right there.
Oh my God.
That one came out of left field. Oh man. So Mr. Know-It-All, are you ready?
Oh,
see, now you got him second guessing who he was gonna pick.
No. I got him. I'm ready. I'm ready, brother. Whenever you are.
We are ready. All right, give me just 1 second here.
Tell you what, man. Again, didn't even see that coming. That was a wonderful. That really was. That was a wonderful pick, and talk about a dark horse pick too, man.
Yeah, because that's not what you would think of.
No, not at all. That was good. I'm really I'm impressed. I'm super impressed at the moment. So yeah,
all right.
Hold on, I just got to get the timer ready there.
I got it ready. I got it ready. You ready for this? And here we go.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine the sky is falling, literally. Giant alien destroyers obliterate city after city. Humanity's back is against the wall. In this desperate hour, who steps up to lead the charge? Not a general, not a mythical superhero. It's the President of the United States, President Thomas J. Whitmore, who grabs a flight suit, jumps into a fighter jet, and soars into battle to save the world. This is no fairy tale. It's the climactic reality of Independence Day. And it exemplifies why President Whitmore is the most badass president ever to hit the silver screen. First, consider courage and controlled prowess. Whitmore he's not content to bunker down and issue orders from afar. He literally fights on the front lines. A former combat pilot, he skillfully flies an F-18 amid swarms of alien attackers, dodging plasma blasts in a do-or-die dogfight. Picture the scene. The president locked into an enemy fighter, finger on the trigger, and he scores the kill. How many leaders, real or fictional, can claim air ace or air superiority status in an interplanetary war? Whitmore's squad mates, half his age, watch in awe as he blazes through the sky. This is guts in action. He even prepares to make the ultimate sacrifice when ammunition runs dry and a colossal alien weapon looms. He's ready. He's ready to ram his jet into the target. That's what it takes. That fearless willingness to die for his people is the hallmark of a true hero. In the end, another pilot finishes the suicide run, but Whitmore, he was fully prepared for going down, man. He was ready for this to be his life, along with his men. He can't get more badass than a president who says, "I'm with you in the trenches," or in this case, the trenches of the sky, until victory or death. Secondly, Whitmore's leadership under pressure is second to none. In one of the darkest hours, one of the darkest moments when global morale is shattered, he gives the speech of a lifetime. We all know it. We all love it. That rousing call on the dawn of July 4th. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. With these words, President Whitmore, he transforms terrified survivors into an inspiring fighting force. He unites soldiers and pilots from every nation to fight as one unit, turning the tide of despair into defiance. This wasn't just a pep talk, it was a battle hymn for humanity. People listening felt their hearts swell and fists clench, some butt cheeks clench too, ready to follow him into hell. You can ask anyone about Independence Day, and the first thing they mention is that speech. It's become iconic in American cinema and beyond. Often imitated, but never duplicated. Whitmore's voice carries the weight of every person on earth, and he does not let them down. Third, Whitmore embodies selflessness and sacrifice on a deeply personal level. This is the president who has so much skin in the game. He's not fighting for the glory or of an ego. He's fighting because he genuinely cares about his nation and the world. Early in the crisis, he agonizes over evacuation decisions and lives lost and all those things, because that's what you do. Now, let's stack President Whitmore against the field. He's the only badass president. No, we've seen others, right? Of course we've seen others. But he's the only one that went there, got behind it, and was leading the charge like George Washington did. That's it. That's all I've got, because at the end of the day, he was the ultimate badass Hollywood president. And right there, mic drop.
I see how you're trying to do that. That was great. Oh, that was so good. Hey, you guys have to apologize, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen here. I was crying. No, that's 1,000 points right there. No,
Oh my god, I love it.
no, man. This is great. This is awesome. No, I do have to say I didn't say what the rules were in round one, or we didn't run the scene there. So
Oh, we totally didn't, did we?
yeah, we just were eager, right, to get into it.
We
So
wanted to jump in. Do you want to run it now?
oh sure, yeah, just to have
The
a little
rules for
run
what
through.
you just saw were
The rules, yes.
Round 1. The good. Each fighter has 5 minutes to clearly present and defend their chosen position. 1 point possible. No attacks allowed yet. Stick strictly to promoting your position. Bad sportsmanship can result in the loss of a point or points. A judge may ask fighters clarifying questions, giving each fighter 2 minutes to respond. 1 point possible. At the end of the round, each fighter is allowed to offer a final 30-second summary of their argument.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And yeah, I liked both of your presidents. I got to hear.
I love
I got to hear what you got to say. You know what, Salty? I don't know, man. I think I might get offended when you start attacking this president.
That's awesome.
I just might. I don't know. But here we go. Are you guys ready, or is there anything that you wanted to like? Because I'm ready to get into round two. If you.
Oh, seriously? You ready? I mean, unless you want to.
Oh, dude, I have no follow-ups. That was great.
So, do you want to reinforce your argument, or do you want to any of that?
I think President Camacho needs no reinforcements.
Yes,
That's fair.
love it.
I'm down. You want to get into round two?
Yes, please, Peacock.
Round 2. The bad. Each fighter has 5 minutes with which to attack your opponent's choice directly. Highlight flaws, inconsistencies, and most of all, weaknesses. 1 point possible. Fighters cannot change or expand on the original argument. Your initial case is locked in. Defensive arguments can only counter attacks without adding new information. Each fighter gets 2 minutes with which to defend against attacks. 1 additional point possible. The judge may ask clarifying questions, giving each fighter 1 minute to respond. 1 additional point possible. Option. In the event of a tie or the judge is finding difficult to make a decision, each fighter is allowed a final 30-second summation.
All right. Oh, I don't know if I'm looking forward to this right now. But here we go. Are you ready there, Salty? To attack?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you know what? I gotta play judge. Are you ready to just state your case?
Of course I am.
All right. Well, here we go then. And it begins now.
All right. So President Whitmore, was he a competent president? Well, no. In fact, at the beginning of the movie, it was put out very clearly that the press and Congress had turned against him because he sounded like little Oliver begging for more when he was asking for his appropriations bills.
Yes.
Now, did he fly a jet to save the world? Well, technically he was there, but it was really Russell T. Crowe, redneck extraordinaire, that saved the world, not President Whitmore. And by the way, contrary to what my esteemed colleague was trying to say, at no point during the battle did President Whitmore suggest that he was going to make a suicide run at the mega weapon. Now, as far as him not bunkering down, except that he did in the entire film, except for during the final battle, when the bunker he was hiding in was under direct attack. So he was simply making a desperation move. And, he only joined because they didn't have enough pilots. And so he figured, well, gotta do what I gotta do, I guess. Hope we don't die. Now, yes, he did fight these uber super powerful aliens that were ultimately defeated by an iMac. Now, he did give the speech Of course, when he tried to give the speech, he ended up screwing up the microphone at first because he doesn't even know how to frickin' operate a bullhorn. However, he did manage to get it going, and his entire speech revolved around remembering what the date was. Now, did he unite soldiers and pilots to the cause? He absolutely did not. That was, in fact, the work of the Air Force staff at Area 51. If you'll notice, the president was hiding down in the bunker, hanging out with Data and the aliens the whole time. He was not out there rallying the troops, except for right before they jump into the battle. Now, was he fighting because he cares? No. He was fighting out of pure rank emotionalism. And in fact, he was running away left and right, and he refused to make a single offensive move until his wife died twice.
Oh man.
So I'm sorry if I'm just, I mean, yes, did President Whitmore, was he president when the aliens were defeated? Yes. However, I would dare say that Will Ferrell could have been president at the time, and the aliens still would have been defeated by a MacBook and a hotshot guy that likes to slap people around during the Academy Awards. And I'll rest my case there.
You'll rest your case there. Oh, brother. Whoa.
Wow. That's rough, I guess. I hear you, man. That's rough.
Wow. I feel so offended. I almost came this close to holding you of contempt.
You know, an American hero was just attacked. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
You're just
oh my gosh. No. This was great. See, you were doing so well. You know, you were up to 1,000 points until that very end. It brought you down 1,000. No, just no, that was really good though. I appreciate that insight, and it was very educational and informative and offensive, and I loved it.
Thank you.
I know sometimes the truth can.
It does hurt sometimes, doesn't it? Doesn't it? He did point out some good He pointed out some good facts there. All right, so it looks like we are going to. Dude, you're gonna have to save us. I am so biased, but I don't care.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, here we go.
Ready? Here we go.
I am ready, and there we go.
All right, let's talk about the clown king of idiocracy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not confuse noise with strength or volume with leadership. President Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho isn't a badass. No, I'm sorry. He's a punchline. A walking parody of everything wrong with incompetent leadership. If anyone's trying to argue that Camacho deserves a spot in this debate, they're not just misunderstanding the character, they're misunderstanding the assignment. He's literally the embodiment of stupidity. Camacho's not an action hero. He's not a leader. He's a professional wrestler turned president in a future so dumbed down it elected a man who can barely string together coherent thoughts. His entire character is designed to satirize the degradation of political discourse and civic intelligence. He's not a model of strength. He's a warning sign, a neon red flag waving in front of everything that we should avoid in a leader. Giving him credit for badassery is because he yells and fires a machine gun in Congress is like calling a toddler a genius because they screamed the loudest at daycare. He delegates out of desperation, not even remotely wisdom. Yes, okay, he appoints the smartest man alive to fix the world's problems. But let's be clear. He does this out of total incompetence and panic, not out of leadership skill. He doesn't vet the guy. He doesn't understand what he's asking for. He's just desperately punting the problem away because he has no clue how to solve it himself. Camacho doesn't solve anything. He doesn't strategize. He doesn't fight. He doesn't inspire. He outsources the solution and lucks into a win. That's not strength. That's survival by scapegoat. The gun, the muscles, the motorcycle, it's all theater. Let's talk about the image. Okay, the big gun, the wild outfits, the motorcycle entrance in Congress. People might say, oh, "That's badass." No, that's costume design. That's stage presence. That's pro wrestling drama, not presidential valor. There's zero substance behind the spectacle. Camacho's gun, he's never used in defense of anyone. His bravado never translates into, real leadership. He postures like an alpha, but acts like a background extra in his own administration. Yes, he can paint a clown red, white, and blue, but he's still a clown. Okay, he's a symptom, not a solution. President Camacho exists to reflect the downfall of intellect and reason and leadership. He's not badass. He's a cinematic roast of what happens when we value charisma over competence. His very existence is a joke at the audience's expense, a warning that if we idolize the loudest and most outrageous, we'll end up with chaos in a suit and tie. Anyway, so to put it plainly, Camacho isn't supposed to be admired. He's supposed to scare you. Look, Camacho, bottom line is he's not really a contender. He's the cautionary tale. If you're, you got to understand that at the end of the day, he's incoherent, he's incompetent, he's incapable of solving a single crisis, and ultimately entirely dependent on someone else to play the hero. That's not badass. That's buffoonery. I'm out.
Ooh, he is out, ladies and gentlemen. Yikes. Oh, man. Wow.
Did I stun everyone into silence?
You stunned all of us into silence. We can't have that airspace.
I see how you didn't actually address any of his badassery, but that's okay. I understand.
Well, you did.
Yeah, I absolutely addressed the things that he talked about. But you see, that's kind of a thing on
That's
this
the whole point of it, though.
I tend to attack the actual issues that my esteemed colleague brings up, while he just kind of ignores whatever I say because he doesn't have a counter.
You ever notice that when they can't actually make an argument, it gets to insults and character assassination?
Exactly what you were doing, my friend. Yeah,
you notice?
Yes, you absolutely did that. Yes.
What are you talking about? I feel like I feel like Lore would understand where I'm coming from right now, because literally his arguments online end up with people just calling him fat and ugly. I'm like, but you didn't address
that's kind of what you just did to President Camacho.
I addressed everything. Every single point you made. He got the smartest man.
Okay, hold on. Did you mention the colonoscopy?
Why would I mention that? It's part of he's an idiot.
Did you wait? You said you mentioned every point that I brought up. So did you mention the colonoscopy?
Hold on. I'm sorry, Judge. Is the debate about he and I, or is the debate about the characters we're talking about?
It's about the characters, sir.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now, if it was clearly President Camacho fighting Whitmore, maybe we'd have a different maybe we'd have a different debate.
Well, you see, you're starting to make the case here, because we're not talking about.
No. Continue.
No, I'm not.
We're not talking. Wait. Are we? Is the topic who was the better, more competent president? No, it's who's the more badass president. So
the guy who flies an F-18 into the face of alien attack, or
I would tend to think
who goes. Brah.
I would tend to think that like you even said, if you put the two of them in a room, the one coming out of that room ain't Whitmore.
He does have a point there.
It would probably be the redneck. No, but that's not the argument we're making. So what?
It's who's the most badass. Whitmore. The only way Whitmore is a badass is when he had 17.
He had a point for that statement. I didn't say who was more of a badass. Right?
You don't have to sell me on Whitmore, by the way. I already love the guy. Did you hear what he said? He literally goes, "The only way he's a badass is with so many tons of steel under." Well, yeah, and says the guy who argued about a gun and a motorcycle.
Did you hear me? Did you hear that, Gonzo? He admitted that is correct. The only way he's a badass is when he's in the cockpit. Any other time,
I don't know about you. That's still awful badassery to me.
However, Camacho is a badass all the time.
If you're talking about he's a pro wrestler joke punchline, yeah, sure, he totally is. 100%.
Okay.
And in that impromptu debate,
that ends that. Um, this happened. He says objection immaterial. There you go, Stanley. I was thinking. No, I'm a little lost here. So I think that was it. Unless you guys want to reaffirm your arguments before I can make another
Well, I think
decision
he's
here.
just going to continue to lie about Camacho.
Wow.
Ooh. Oh
I think
man.
I think what my
I
left
think
leaning
this is
friend
gonna
wants to call
be
lying.
called a rebuttal. I think since you said that I'm gonna have to like put a timer on this now and make it a rebuttal round for at least 2 minutes each.
Sounds that's I'm
Would
yeah.
you like to respond there, Mr. Know-It-All?
Right in general, like respond to what his assertions.
Yes.
Sure. Go ahead.
Sure.
You gonna put a timer on? You gonna put on the timer? You gonna make it
Yep,
official?
I'm gonna put a timer
Go
on
for it.
here and everything. And I have to hear it, by the way, because I am so biased on this one right now. So here we go.
Look, it's so easy to sit here and build a straw man who knows how to jump around and dance and do the whole nonsense. It's a lot more difficult to be everything that my esteemed opponent tried to say that Whitmore was, and then still come out as being the person who inspired the world. Okay, now you could argue, well, I think Camacho did whatever he did, but the bottom line is this: Camacho, who he inspired the guys who enjoyed watching a 40-minute movie of someone farting. Like that's really the inspiration, or the fact that Demolition Derby is how they assassinate people. I'm sorry, I love me a good monster truck race once in a while, but the last thing I've ever thought to myself is, boy, this is awfully courageous. Again, as he pointed out, thank you, sir, for this. He gets in the cockpit of a plane, not any plane, an F-18, one of the most powerful weapons of war at the time, leads a squadron himself, and then boldly goes in the face, not only prepared to make the decision, though he wants to say he wasn't prepared to. At the end of the day, the choice was there in front of him, and you know what happened? He had inspired a drunk, inspired an alcoholic to go and rise above it, because my guy is such the badass president. He inspires other people to victory. He gets the other people equally excited and willing to lay it all out, put it on the line. And what do? They go out and they change the face of the world. And he gets to stand there erecting a statue of this person and realizing that, you know what? True badassery is knowing for a fact that you led the world in its most needed moment. That's ultimately what that stands for. That's true badassery.
Oh man. Okay, Mr. Salty. Let's see. I'm calling you Mr. Salty now because I feel a little
Mr.
sorry
Salty.
for you.
That's
Yeah,
a
right.
brand of wrestling, man.
Oh man. Okay, let's get you all set up here. Oh, I think I have the right one here. Yep. Why doesn't it do the countdown here?
You're good. Don't worry, man. You got it. You'll get it. It's all good.
Oh, hold on here, Salty there.
You know, I just noticed the salt monster peeking out the bottom. Like just the eyes only.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It is.
I just noticed that. I was like, I hadn't seen him yet. That's hilarious.
Now, why I hit reset timer. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna come over here. See what it does. See, it should say countdown, duration based. There we go. Let's hit go. Ah, there it is.
Okay, so
Continue.
he says he can barely string together coherent thoughts, and it was a warning sign. Well, first of all, you're right that he could barely string together coherent thoughts. He was an idiot. He was like a 60 IQ person, and yet he brought the world back from the absolute brink of self-destruction. Despite the fact that he was a complete moron, he still managed to save the world. Now, I understand that you are not impressed by guns, muscles, and motorcycles. However, like I said, unless you can fit an F-18 inside of a stadium, you're going to have a hard time getting the two of them in a cage match that will be anywhere near fair. As far as him being as Whitmore being the person who inspired the world, no, he absolutely did not. He inspired a few pilots around him that heard him on the bullhorn, but nobody else heard him. He didn't talk to the leaders around the world. They talked in Morse code. They weren't hearing, "Wow, that was inspirational dots and dashes." So I'm sorry, that's just a load of crap. As far as inspiring the drunk to be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, no, his kids inspired him to make the ultimate sacrifice, not the president. Now, he was honored to be with the president, but he would have said that no matter, even if he was with President Camacho.
Oh, and he was with 32 seconds left, and you're all set, huh? But that's a little overconfident, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, episode of Slim Jim brought to you by Carl.
All right.
Yeah, brought to you by
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So, okay, to me, it was not a tough call, and I have to put up appearances. But
I have to put up appearances. I love that so much.
Whitmore has to take the cake. See, Johnny. Mr. Know-It-All there. He won by 351 to 350.
Can we get a judge that can not be biased?
Pick a better argument and a better. There were so many other. I swear, I thought you were going to pick any of them. I was super worried you were going to pick mine, to be honest.
Actually, Whitmore was my alternative.
Was it really?
Yeah.
My alternative was President Marshall. I was gonna go with what's his face, Indiana Jones. If you didn't
Get off my plane.
I thought long and hard about that one. You know what really helped me, to be honest, is you said think long and hard about what your opponent will say, and what I did was I took that thought process and was like, okay, so how would I argue against this? So it was actually very, very helpful advice, which I know you're like, that sucks, I shouldn't give advice. No, but you did have a very, very cool pick, because I know that I was like, I did not.
It's badass, not good president.
I did not see that.
I still think.
But he was a badass president.
He was not a badass. In fact, he was lucky in that his skill set.
I think you're confusing our characters. I think you're
no. I'm talking about Whitmore.
Was lucky.
Whitmore was lucky at the end of that movie that his skill set happened to align with what was needed in the final battle.
That's like what are you talking about? That's leadership. He was ready.
That's not leadership. The leadership just happens to make it so that they need combat pilots.
He was ready, period. You can argue all you want. He was prepared. He was prepared to do the tough thing and whatever.
And you could also make the argument that it was actually a rather insane thing to do, to have the president.
Oh, totally.
The president of the United States get into
I know, but he's such a badass that's why he did it.
I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah. I don't think he can arm wrestle my sister. So.
Damn, that's rough, man. I don't know. I don't even know who your sister. Oh my god. All right, so what do we got next?
All right, so it looks like we've got the wild card round. Okay. And I'll go over those rules real quick over here.
Round 3, the ugly. This is the wild card round. The fighter with the fewest points picks their position first. Their opponent must take the opposing side, no exceptions, refusing to debate or intentionally throwing the round forfeits the entire match. Each fighter gets 2 minutes for their argument, plus a 1-minute rebuttal. 1 point possible. Decides the match if tied.
Okay, so obviously, we're going to have to pick someone here, and it looks like Mr. Know-It-All over here, we're going to give you, let me see here.
I'm supposed to pick. Can you tell me what's the scenario? We don't even know what the scenario is.
Oh, the scenario is going to be the same. Let's say they both get into a fist fight.
And Are you serious?
But it's not going to be these presidents. It's not going to be these presidents.
Okay.
He goes, are you serious?
He's like, it's real life presidents. No.
No.
By the way, don't think I am not fully aware and cognizant of the irony of my argument. Don't think. I am very, very
Yes, I know. I was like, I don't think that for a minute that I was resisting hitting you for that.
It
So
was all I could do not to try to break the fourth wall and just be like it's a bad movie and just leave me like, trust me.
All right, so it looks like we've got in one corner. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the presidents, and I'm gonna give Mr. Know-It-All here, Mr. Benjamin Asher from Olympus Has Fallen.
from what movie?
Okay.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, okay.
He was the one. He was the. I was gonna say he was the white guy on the title card.
Yeah, he
And
was the one that was being
I'm gonna give Salty the advantage, and we're gonna give Mr. Harrison Ford at Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
Now, as far as the scenario goes, I'm gonna be honest, and I don't have one. So we're just gonna do a straight up in a scene where they come across each other, and
They
just
don't
like
like each
president,
other?
just like they don't like each other, and just he's gonna meet him in the backyard of the gym, and meet him underneath the stadiums,
Hilarious.
and punch him in the nose.
Is this like before they but before they became president or after?
I don't think it matters.
After they're both seasoned. That's a hard one, isn't it?
I can see the problem is I can see advantages to each of them, but yeah.
So okay, here we go.
But I'll.
Who do you think will be the better leader in the movie Independence Day?
What?
Who do you think would be the better
I
president?
thought we were doing fist fights. Now we're doing. I'm down.
Well, I was just thinking about that. If the fist fights was too vague for you guys, is it not too vague? We can do that still.
And you said it was President Trimble that he's going with, right?
No, I think he said Marshall. Did you say Marshall or Trimble?
Asher
versus
Marshall.
Oh, Asher. Okay.
Marshall. Asher versus Marshall.
Okay.
So that's Olympus Has Fallen versus what's his name?
Air Force One.
Yeah, Air Force One.
President Marshall. So you have the pick. You can actually have a pick here.
No, I'll stick with President Marshall.
Okay. And then the scenario, you have the pick. Who would be the best president to lead this invasion? Or who?
Because I thought we were just doing a straight up fight, cage match.
Let's do a straight up fight then. We're doing a straight up fight.
Yes.
No, let's do it.
We're gonna do a straight up fight.
Yes.
I'm down.
Mr. Know-It-All won the round by 1 point. So this time I'm going, and he's gonna go first since you went first last time because I decided that's what's gonna be.
You realize we just read the rules, right? Like literally, you're throwing them all out.
I'm just messing it all up here, guys. So don't worry about it. No.
What are we gonna do?
Let's
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna argue. I'm not allowed to argue.
No, you're not allowed to argue.
All things. What is it? What's the phrase? What's the phrase I'm not supposed to say again?
Oh. What is it? I don't remember now.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Okay, if we strip away the titles, the Secret Service, the plot armor, and just drop these two men in a room, mano a mano, no weapons, President Benjamin Asher wins that fight, hands down. Here's why. One, Asher's younger, okay, leaner and more physically conditioned. Let's be real. Aaron Eckhart's President Asher is in his physical prime during Olympus Has Fallen. He's lean, fast, and has the athleticism of a man who's clearly kept himself in peak condition. Harrison Ford's James Marshall, on the other hand, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm not arguing with him. But however, in a fist fight, speed, stamina, and reflexes matter. Asher's the guy who takes this and keeps coming. So then Asher also has proven hand-to-hand combat under duress. Okay, so at the end of the day, Asher fights off a terrorist during his own escape. and he tackles, wrestles, and helps kill an attacker in close quarters despite being injured, hunted, and exhausted. That shows not only technique, instinct, but also grit. He's not just surviving, he's actively contributing in the fight alongside a special forces level protector in Mike Banning. That means he knows how to move in a fight, how to counter, and how to finish when it counts. Mental toughness. Asher survives torture without breaking. Let's talk pain tolerance. At Olympus's fall, and Asher is stabbed, beaten, and psychologically tormented by terrorists. And ultimately, he never really gives up the nuclear codes. He stares death in the face and holds the line. That's mental steel. Marshall, come on, gets bruised up in one fight, wins because of luck, whatever. All right, Asher has the killer instinct. Marshall hesitates. Asher knows when to finish the fight. He's a wartime president who refuses to flinch under pressure. He doesn't rely on speeches or bravado. He knows how to keep calm and assess threats and essentially act decisively in a fight. That gives him the edge. Marshall, for all his strength of will, is slower to act. He hesitates, he overthinks. Asher fights dirty if he has to. Let's not forget, as a hostage, Asher was stabbed in the back and still kept going. In a brawl, he's not above gouging, grappling, or choking out an opponent. That means survival, okay? Whereas Marshall fights like a soldier. That's great. Give it to him. Asher fights like a survivor in a death match. That kind of grit really matters. So to me, the final verdict is President Benjamin Asher. He beats James Marshall in the fist fight because he's better shape, younger, faster, leaner. He's already proven his hand-to-hand skill in 2 films. He's unmatched pain tolerance and mental toughness. He doesn't hesitate or show mercy when the fight demands a finish. And most importantly, the man never breaks. In a war of wills and fists, Asher walks away, bloody, battered, but victorious. Because where others fall, Asher endures.
All right. Hold on a second here. Bam, bam. Here we go. All right, sir. Mr. Salty.
Yeah.
You have your chance now to go ahead and talk about Mr. President Marshall.
President Marshall is. Oh, go
hold
ahead.
on.
You haven't got it set up
You
yet.
got to get a timer going on here. I would like to get the timer going. And here we go.
Okay, look, President Marshall is the understated hero of his film. Obviously, we're not talking about someone who is dependent upon others or is a great delegator or anything like that. We're talking about a person who is on his own, relying on his own skill, wit, and raw physical power in order to deal with a very ugly situation. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people would probably look at Harrison Ford and say, come on, man, the guy's 150 years old. But you're forgetting that Air Force One was made in 1997. This is not a movie that was made yesterday or even a decade or even 2 decades ago. And this is Harrison Ford at his absolute prime. This is the same Blade Runner, Indiana Jones, Han Solo, Harrison Ford, not the old grizzled, barely, keeping a pacemaker going, Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford.
Oh, no.
And even Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford, at least turned into the Hulk. So, you got that too. I just do not see any way that a man who single-handedly takes down a ruthless gang of terrorists, including, of course, the infamous "get off my plane" at the end, could possibly lose a fight with the contender that my esteemed colleague will have to defend. It's just no contest.
No contest. All right. Looks like you're all set then. Wow. Oh, that's going to be a tough call there because both presidents were pretty badass. All right. We're going to have to go here with President Asher, though, because he is younger. He endured a whole lot of torture. He was able to hold the line, but by a very, very close margin compared to President Marshall. Because I was trying not to get my bias in the way again on this one.
Yeah.
Because of all the things that you stated before was running in my head as well. So
I'm actually, now I'm curious.
but when it comes to fisticuffs, I think Asher would win.
Okay. Well, you know, I understand you think the guy that had to be rescued by the Scotsman.
Who was running side by side with him
By
during
the way,
escape.
just as a point of order, Mr. Judge, let's see. Their ages are not that far off from each other. So
No, they are not. They are not. I
I'm
did
saying,
realize that
like,
because of what
let's
had happened.
see. When was I'm trying to see? Olympus has fallen.
You gotta understand, this was a very close margin.
Yeah. So
So the only time this match is gonna win is if one of them slipped up, and the other one got lucky. It's by a lucky shot,
right.
and that I would have to give to Asher since he's a little bit more. He's a little bit on the younger side. So
They're within about 5 years of each other.
yeah, see,
I don't know, man. That 5 years matters. My back is awfully achy more than it was 5 years ago.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is that one of these two guys didn't have to be rescued.
Okay. Well, I mean, the verdict was final. However,
Unless otherwise convinced.
otherwise convinced.
It was good. It was good.
Man, he took the words right out of my mouth, man.
You guys.
Anyways, I'm all set, and it looks like there's a tie going on over here. Oh no, there was no tie because Mr. Know-It-All both rounds. So we have the winner again with Mr. Know-It-All. Brum, brum, brum.
Oh, and just as a housekeeping thing, the position of judge is recently been